As a premier community in Hampton Roads, James City County strives to maintain a high quality of life for all citizens through sound fiscal management and legislative actions. In an ongoing effort to increase transparency, your Board of Supervisors holds public meetings to garner citizen input before making important decisions. Here's tonight's meeting agenda. Stay tuned. The Board of Supervisors meeting will begin shortly.
Call to order this meeting of the James City County Board of Supervisors for a regular meeting. Mr. Stevens, would you call the roll, please?
Mr. Hipple?
Here.
Mr. Hipple represents the Powhatan District. Ms. Knoll?
Present.
Ms. Knoll represents the Stonehouse District. Ms. Larson?
Here.
Ms. Larson represents the Berkeley District. Mr. McGlennon?
Here.
Mr. McGlennon represents the Roberts District and is Vice Chair of the Board. Mr. Eisenhower?
Here.
Mr. Eisenhower represents the Jamestown District and is Chair of the Board. Sitting to my far left is Adam Kinsman, County Attorney. I'm Scott Stevens, County Administrator, and it's my pleasure to be Clerk to the Board.
Welcome, everyone. Good to see a full house tonight. I will note for the at the beginning that staff has requested a postponement of public hearing number 3. Since it was advertised, we will open the public hearing and leave it open until December 9th, 2025 regular meeting. No staff report will be given at this evening. If you wish to speak about this item tonight, you will not be allowed to speak again at the December 9th meeting. So if you were planning on speaking on that one, you need to make a decision as to whether you want to speak tonight or wait until it comes back. We begin our meeting with a moment of silence followed by the Pledge of Allegiance, and our pledge leader this evening is from the Powhatan District, and Mr. Hipple will do the introduction.
Thank you. Our pledge leader tonight, Kaia London, and she goes to DJ Montague School and lives over in Seasons Trace, and her parents, Michael London Sr. and Stacy London, and her siblings, Kenya, Caleb, Cordell, and Chloe, and they're all in the Powhatan District. She loves to dance. She's been dancing since she was 2.5 and is on a competitive dance team. She also loves arts and crafts and makes things with her hands. So if you would come forward and come up to the mic there, and after our moment of silence, we'll start with the pledge. And you come right to that. Yep. Come around the other way. There you go. Good job. And you might want to pull that down. Can you pull that down? There you go.
There you go. Great.
All right, give us a moment.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Great job.
Yes.
I've got something for you.
Oh, yeah.
Thank you, Jim.
Okay, this evening, we have 4 presentations. Our first presentation is a commendation for service for Jackie Silvia. Cameron Boone, Assistant Secretary, Treasurer, will give the introductory remarks, and then I'll read the presentation and come down and look at some pictures.
Chairman Eisenhower, Board of Supervisors, thank you so much for having us here tonight. As you said, my name is Cameron Boone. I'm the Assistant Treasurer, and I'm speaking tonight on behalf of Jennifer Toms, our Treasurer, who was unfortunately unable to make it here tonight. And before the commendation, I did want to share some personal remarks to try to give a glimpse into what the loss of Jackie may look like for our team, for our office, and for the county as a whole. And in trying to decide how to best share what we're expecting when Jackie leaves, it's not just the institutional knowledge of 20 years of service to James City County, 10 years with our Treasurer's Office, 10 years in General Services. Jackie was such a resource not only to the staff in our office, but I had the pleasure of attending continuing education courses through the Treasurers Association of Virginia, which is a statewide advocacy and continuing education group for treasurers and deputies, and seeing the interaction when the presenters of these classes and seminars would look to Jackie to comment, to share with the whole room her insights, her experience. It's a testimony to how well she was respected, not just here in our office, but across the association. But it's not really the institutional knowledge that I think Jenny and I are most going to miss about having you in our office, Jackie. It's that those conversations at the water cooler with other staff after a difficult phone call. It's the way out at the end of the night and the encouragement that you provide to all of us after a rough day, because let's face it, as your treasurer deputies, it's not always a pleasant day in the office in tax collection. And Jackie just has the spirit of a public servant. It's contagious to work around her, that no matter how an interaction may go, she would always have a positive encouragement for the staff. And so the ability to mentor the younger and less experienced employees is going to just be so sorely missed. And I thank you for all of your service to the Treasurer's Office and to our county.
Very welcome.
Thank you. And I will read the commendation honoring the service of Jackie Silvia. Whereas Jackie Silvia has served the residents of James City County with honor and distinction for 20 years, beginning her tenure in 2005 with the Treasurer's Office, moving to the General Services Department in 2008, and returning in 2018 to the Treasurer's Office for the duration of her career as an Accounting Technician 3. And whereas Jackie has exemplified the highest standard of integrity when appropriately applying the Code of Virginia as it relates to the collection of taxes and other duties of the Treasurer's Office, continuing her education through the Treasurers Association of Virginia and sharing her knowledge with colleagues. And whereas Jackie routinely collaborated with other county departments as well as the citizens of James City County in her endless pursuit in the collection of the appropriate balances owed to the county. And whereas Jackie's standard of excellence was ever present, often building relationships with the business community and educating business owners about responsibilities and tax liabilities. And whereas Jackie took to heart the value of stewardship, never wavering in her dedication to the duties of the Treasurer's Office, specifically collections, while also assisting citizens in understanding tax obligations and providing options for rectifying balances. And whereas Jackie's retirement on December 31st, 2025 will be a tremendous loss of institutional knowledge and practices for both James City County and the Treasurer's Office. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Chair of the Board of Supervisors, on behalf of the residents of James City County, do hereby extend our deepest gratitude to Jackie Silvia for her decades of exceptional service and commitment to our community. We wish her an enjoyable, fulfilling, and well-deserved retirement. In witness whereof, I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of the County of James City, Virginia to be affixed this 12th day of November, 2025. Let me come down and present that.
I would like to thank the citizens, the employees of James City County, the Board of Supervisors, County Administration. I have had a good run here. As Cameron mentioned, it was not always pleasant days, but you came back tomorrow and you did what you had to do. I was put in the position to collect money, and that's what I did. Some people didn't like it, but that was my job. I have enjoyed my tenure with James City County, and I hope all the young people who come to work for the county have as pleasant an experience as I've had, and will do what they can to help the county. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Our next presentation is Good Samaritan recognition, and Ruth Larson will give the opening remarks.
Molly, if you
we can go this way. I can just move the mic. There you go. Before we get started, I want to thank Mr. Tubbs, who brought this to our attention, and also want to recognize that Delegate-elect Jessica Anderson is here, and also Supervisor-elect Tracy Wainwright is joining us tonight as well. So thank you for being here on such a special night. Thank you, Mr. Chair and colleagues. Tonight, we gather not only to remember tragedy, but to celebrate the extraordinary bravery and compassion that define our community. On October 5th, 2024, a horrific act of violence occurred here in James City County, an act that could have ended these 2 lives, but instead it revealed the very best of who we are as neighbors, citizens, and public servants. Because of the actions of Good Samaritans, Patrick O'Brien, Master Sergeant John Rattay, and Sarah Copeland, and the incredible professionalism of our fire and EMS crews from Station 3 and 5, Molly and Luke Haskin are alive and with us today. Their courage, along with the calm and bravery of Gavin Kubler, who as a teenager called 911 and captured crucial evidence that led to an arrest within an hour, remind us that heroes come in all forms and ages. To our first responders who train for moments like this and always answer the call, we thank you. To our Good Samaritans, you are living proof that courage isn't something you prepare for, it's something you choose. And to Molly and Luke, your strength, grace, and perseverance remind us what it means to overcome, to heal, and to inspire. On behalf of the Board of Supervisors, the residents of the Berkeley District, and all of James City County, thank you to each person being recognized tonight. James City County has the best citizens, and tonight I am grateful for those who stepped in to help. Oh, there's Chief Ash. I think Chief Ash is following me. Yeah. Okay.
Good evening, Chair, members of the board, and members of our community. On October 5th of last year, my life and my son Luke's life changed forever. When I was stopped at a red light at Centerville, a stranger in the car next to us opened fire on our car. I remember the sound of shattering glass, the shock of pain, and also the horrible realization that my son had been injured. I desperately tried to drive to our original destination, which was Jamestown High School, where the rest of the marching band was waiting, because I thought it would be a place of safety where we could get assistance. Unfortunately, my injuries were too grave, and I soon had to pull the car over as I lost consciousness. What happened next is what we're here to focus on today. Not the violence, but the kindness, and I'm gonna cry, goodness, the courage and the professionalism that met us in those terrible moments. 3 people we had never met, Patrick O'Brien, Master Sergeant John Rattay, and Sarah Copeland, in complete disregard for their own safety, saw my vehicle stop and did not hesitate to immediately start a course of actions which saved our lives. Patrick, drawing from his extensive medical background as a former ER nurse, used his own shirt to reduce the extensive bleeding and help me breathe well enough again that I could regain consciousness. His training and instant triage of the situation meant that when the first responder team got there, he was able to provide them with skilled details that allowed them to jump into immediate action. Sarah, whose background as a special education teacher meant that she possessed training in keeping calm in uncertain moments, actually climbed into the vehicle to secure it from rolling further because I didn't have the chance to put it into park. She followed Patrick's medical guidance, searching me for other injuries and mitigating the damage from the most obvious one. John helped Luke get comfortable in the grass and then drew on his military first aid training while applying items he had in his own vehicle to stop the bleeding from Luke's arms. He found out that their common interest in playing the trumpet, and he kept Luke calm and distracted until the ambulance arrived. It cannot be understated how brave these actions were. No one knew if the shooter was still around. Both Patrick and John had their own daughters in their vehicles, and they let them there and yet chose to render aid to us. They acted purely out of compassion and courage. And then there's Gavin, Luke's friend, who, oh goodness, Gavin, who was in the car with us that day. Gavin, you survived a horrible attack, and you could have easily frozen up with fear and shock. Yet in that moment, you acted with bravery and foresight to capture the video that not only became ultimate proof, but it also provided the crucial information to the police so that they could apprehend the criminal in a very expedient manner. You stayed calm and called 911, providing the vital location information that allowed the first responders to reach us so quickly. You also provided immediate details to the responding officers that led to a clear picture of the entire event. Your courage under fire is beyond words. You are one of my heroes. Our James City Fire and EMS teams from stations 3 and 5 arrived within minutes and performed miracles. They gave me a blood transfusion on the side of the road, stabilized Luke, and coordinated a helicopter landing to get me to life-saving medical care. Their training, teamwork, and speed made all the difference for me between life and death. And to the James City County Police Department, the Commonwealth Attorney Office, and everyone who worked tirelessly to bring justice, thank you. Justice has been served, but it's the care and compassion that you all showed that allowed us to be here today. To our neighbors and friends in this community, thank you for standing with us, checking on us, and lifting us up when we needed it most. You reminded us, even in the darkest times, we are not alone. And as we approach this Thanksgiving season, I find myself especially grateful, not just for survival, but for the people that make life worth living. Thanksgiving is about gathering together, sharing gratitude, and remembering what truly matters, our family, our friendship, and our community. For us, it's also a little bit about second chances and giving thanks to those who saved us. And with Christmas right around the corner, I want to extend a heartfelt thank you to Busch Gardens, who's given a generous gift of Christmastown passes for everyone involved, and the Good Samaritans, the first responders, and the friends who helped save our lives. Before I close, I'd like to invite our heroes and friends and their families to join us after this meeting at Revolutions on High Street at 6 p.m. It's a simple gathering, no ceremony, just friendship, laughter, and a chance to celebrate together. What happened on October 5th was the darkest moment of my life, but what happened in the minutes that followed, the bravery, the teamwork, the humanity, that's what I'll remember most. It reminded me that even in the moments of unimaginable fear, there's always light and there's always people willing to bring it. So thank you all.
Thank you. And I know there's nothing I can say that's going to make any difference more than what Molly has already shared about her and her son Luke. But I did want, on behalf of the fire department, recognize the 4 individuals with a life-saving award from the fire department. So if the 4 of you would please come forward, I'd like to recognize you.
Okay.
Okay, our third presentation for the evening is a proclamation for the 20th Annual Model Railroad Show. And I will read the proclamation, and then I'll have the folks from the Model Railroad Club come forward, and we'll get some photos and present it. This is a proclamation celebrating the 20th Annual Model Railroad Show. Whereas in 2005, the Ford's Colony Model Railroad Club partnered with the Williamsburg Regional Library to celebrate National Model Railroad Month, establishing the tradition of an annual model railroad show for the enjoyment of our community. And whereas the inauguration of this event began with a single O-scale operating layout for one weekend at the James City County Library, and through enthusiastic community support and dedicated volunteers has grown to over 20 years to feature 8 operating layouts ranging from the very large G scale to the smallest T scale. And whereas the Model Railroad Show is free to the public and has become a cherished community tradition, attracting 2,000 to 3,000 visitors each year and bringing joy to attendees of all ages, as evidenced by the smiles and wonderment sparked by the club's creative talents. And whereas the Ford's Colony Model Railroad Club further enriches our local heritage through its collaboration with the Norge Depot Association, having built and maintained an HO scale layout depicting the historic village of Norge, now featured in the Norge Depot Museum adjacent to the library, and operated on special occasions, including this annual show. And whereas the Ford's Colony Model Railroad Club and its volunteers, led by President Gail Traber and supported by key contributors, Andrew Smith, Stu McKenzie, Doug McKenzie, Walt Durant, Al Starzik, and Bob Calabro, deserve special recognition for fostering fellowship, inspiring creativity, and contributing to the vibrancy of our region. Now therefore be it resolved that I, Chair of the Board of Supervisors of James City County, Virginia, do hereby proclaim December 6th and 7th, 2025 as Model Railroad Show Days in recognition of the 20th Annual Model Railroad Show to celebrate the enduring contributions of the Ford's Colony Model Railroad Club to our community. In witness whereof I have hereunto set my hand and caused the seal of James City County, Virginia to be affixed this 12th day of November, 2025. And if the club would come up, I will do the presentation here.
Well, thank you, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. As you said, this is our 20th Railroad Show on the 6th and 7th of December. It's a lot of work for us, but you really get the reward on those 2 days with all the kids and the families and everything. And so we appreciate what you've done for us, and we appreciate this. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Appreciate the service. I know that's a specific draw of great interest to the kids in the community to go up there, kids of all ages. Okay, our fourth one is a Parks and Recreation Awards, and Arlana Fauntleroy will give the presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board of Supervisor members, Mr. Stevens, and the great residents of James City County. It's my distinct honor and pleasure to be here tonight to share the outstanding accomplishments of our Parks and Recreation team at our annual state awards presented by the Virginia Recreation and Parks Society. Our team came back to James City County with 7 top honors for our population category, which was certainly a big deal for us. The categories were Best Health and Wellness Initiative, and it was for Wellness at Work, Women's, Men's, and Health Symposium. Best New DEI, which is Diversity, Equity, Inclusion Initiative, which was Exceptional Expeditions, and it was a program for adults with disabilities. Most Creative Marketing Strategy, Touch, Taste, and See Legacy Hall Showcase. We received Best New Facility for Parks, Playgrounds, and Blueways, and that was for the new outdoor fitness court. And the neatest thing about that was in partnership with our local Williamsburg Health Foundation, Aetna, and the National Fitness Campaign. And it was the first outdoor fitness court that we brought to the Tidewater area, so that was a really neat initiative. The next categories were for individuals or organizations. So we have some great folks that work along with us to make Parks and Recreation the best that it can be. And the first one I want to recognize and ask her to come to the podium is Distinguished Volunteer Service. And that is Judy Kenshaw Ellis. Judy's been a driving force behind some of Parks and Rec's most impactful stewardship projects, including the $30,000 Riparian Duffer Demonstration Guarding Project. Her passion, leadership, and hands-on commitment have contributed to more than $60,000 in volunteer value to the county. And Judy always shows up with such commitment with our team and is always a pleasure to work with. So we want to recognize her as the state did. The next one is Distinguished Private Sector, and that was the Eastern Virginia Mountain Bike Association. And I think we have the president, Chris Sykes, here and some of his team, and you can all come up. But the neatest thing about EVMA, for 37 years, they've supported mountain biking in our actual local community. Here within James City County, they manage over 25 miles of trails in Freedom Park and Upper County. And they've also supported outdoor recreation through mountain biking programs. They have 250 volunteers that are on the ground, and they have contributed over 300 hours to our local community. That's valued at over $10,000. So we definitely thank you as well, and the state recognized your contributions to our local community. So thank you. And then the next one is for distinguished service. So the state gives this up to 2 people that have over 10 years of service, 10 years of service in Parks and Recreation field, but has significant contributions, and that would be Kelly Herbert. Kelly was recognized for her local contributions as well as her work in the state She served as the chair for the Leadership Institute, also co-chair for annual conference. And here, I think what was most important is that her team recognized her and recommended her for this award. And they said that she's a standout leader whose resilience, compassion, and dedication defined her 17 years of experience to Parks and Rec field. Her mentorship, vision, and tireless work ethic has made a lasting impact on the team, community, and the VRPS organization. So Kelly, thank you so much for all that you've done, and she brings her best every day to James City County. And I just wanted to make an honorable mention. It wasn't a part of the formal award ceremony, but Angie Sims also in the Eastern Service area received a President's Award for their contributions in the state. But to get these awards, it certainly takes a village, and these awards were made possible by such an amazing and driven team of individuals who definitely created and led with leadership for these projects. So at this time, I would like to call forth this staff that comes to work every day with commitment, innovation, and heart daily to bring in its best to James City County. Alicia Berkeley, if you can come on up to the front and bring your awards with you. Carla Brittle, Tyler Cobb, Lakia Henderson, Kelly Herbert, Jared Herr, Sarah O'Reilly, Alistair Perkinson, Angie Sims, Patrice Sneed, and Mark Aker, Joy Johnson, Tracy Newsom, and Trey Ripley could not be here with us tonight, but they certainly were a part of a lot of these projects. And I would like to, thank the board and county administration for your support and always encouraging a culture that gives us the ability to bring James City County the best. So thank you. Okay. Okay, thank you. Okay, our next agenda item is public comment, and I have some speaker cards this evening for public comment. As a reminder, you will have 5 minutes, and the little light will turn yellow and then red when your time is up. So if you would abide by that. And when you come, please give us your, state your name and address for the record. Our first speaker is Scott Myers. Scott Myers here? Okay. Don't see him. We'll press on to the next one. Our next one is Donnie McDaniel.
Good afternoon. I'm Donnie McDaniel, the Executive Director for Community of Faith Mission, the emergency shelter program in the greater Williamsburg area. Ms. Larson, thank you for showing up at the nonprofit event for the Old Town Medical Center. It was good to see you there supporting the Board of Supervisors supporting nonprofits, so that was great. I'm here just for a couple of things. I want to give you an update on the schedule. Everyone should have the schedule so that in the event you know of someone who's without shelter during the season, you'll have that. Wanted to share with you the schedule. If you notice it, 12 of the weeks, we do 18 weeks. Out of those, 12 of them are with James City County. And there's a misconception, and I just wanted to share that with you and the public. Many people think that they're just coming from everywhere to stay, but over 30% were James City County people who were claimed to be residents at one time, had a place to live here. And so I did want to share that. The other part is that only 6% of the guests were from Hampton, Newport News. Many people think, I will tell you, when the guests do come, they do say that part of the reason is it's a smaller shelter and the food's better. So that's a lot of the reasons why they come. But of the people that were there, I wanted to also share that 23% of our guests are employed, but they can't afford the housing in the area. And of those 23%, most of them were in the hospitality industry. So, which is a very vibrant and very important aspect of James City County. And so if we don't have housing for them to be able to stay here, then they're trying to travel from Newport News, then they have vehicle issues. So it's good that they could be here and then along a bus line. So I wanted to share that with you. Also, we had a community agency that stopped their housing program. So I spent the summer meeting many times with James City County Social Services and their housing specialists. And one of the largest things that they said was there's no case management. So many of us, when we know we need to work, we need to pay our bills, we need to do that. When someone becomes homeless, they go into what we call survivor mode. And so their thought pattern, they don't have the high functioning thinking a lot of times. They're looking for, how can I get through the moment? They're not looking at, if they get $50, they're not looking, okay, how can I best spend this? It's like, oh, that'll cover a hotel for the night. Well, then they're out of money again. So the need for case management is because we will take them under, help them learn life skills, budgeting, help them with housing, help them with a resume. We had a resume helping at the shelter last year, and you wouldn't believe the look on the people's face when they had a resume in their hand. Many of these people didn't even know what a resume was, and then when they had it, it just uplifted them. And so that's part of what we do. Case management will help that. Well, in order to have a case manager, of course, it doesn't come free. And so every year we ask for funding from you, and James City County has been generous with us in the past in order to help us with the inspections. So we use churches because there is no ordinance that allows us to have a single site. So we use churches, and it's a week at a time. So we go to 18 different places throughout the winter time in the cold months of the year. And so that money that we ask for helps cover that funds because it has to be inspected to make sure it's safe. But we also, you've been a little bit more generous in the last year to help us a little bit more with like hotel stays when people can't stay at our shelter. But because of this case management, and it comes with a price, I'm just bringing it to your attention. So as you're considering the budget and you see my request, you don't think I'm just going for pie in the sky. I really am trying to help the citizens of James City County in order to get them to be productive members of society, and then they can pay taxes, and it all helps everybody out. Thank you so much for your time, and I hope you have a good rest of the session.
Donnie. Okay, our next speaker is Sherry Buford.
Good evening, Board of Supervisors, Mr. Stevens. My name is Cherie Buford. I live in Grove. My address is 8594 Pocahontas Trail. So tonight I'm here to speak to you mainly to share the voice and concerns of my neighbors and friends in Grove regarding the data processing centers, or maybe the possibility of data processing centers. Our community is an established community. First of all, I'd like to thank the Planning Commission, James City County staff, and the board members in making a wise decision about the DPCs, having them go through a use permit, and we really, really thank you for that, so that they don't just come in and just overrun our community. We are very aware that there isn't currently a data processing center plan, yet we know that businesses and wealthy interest groups run through James City County policies and regulations like lightning, forgetting about little communities like Grove, and a lot of those small communities miss out on things that are in their interest. Interestingly enough, there are those who would say that our community, Grove, is the best place for these data processing centers. However, none of those people live in our community. A lot of times you have people pushing for undesirable projects in the smaller communities, and none of them live there, but they will put them in our backyard. And so for that, we are here to voice, not in our backyard, please. Lost my place. So it should be clear that the Grove residents have been carrying a lot of the big share of industrial facilities, and we've seen no returns in the form of responsible neighborhood projects or developments and services. And for that, we say, no respect. The data processing centers have many negatives, the largest being the increase in power bills, not only for James City County, but the entire Hampton Roads. At the September 23rd James City County Board of Supervisors meeting, Mr. Ed Harris, a representative of Visit Williamsburg, showed a video promoting our James City County to the world and quoted, "Think of the most inspiring sports designation you can. Is it across the street from a fulfillment center somewhere between a cornfield and a data farm? Or is it somewhere more epic?" And these words were seen as a negative, a reason not to build a sports destination. Those words were used as a selling point to build the sports destination center in Williamsburg. But we have 3 fulfillment centers in Grove, and now the county wants to burden us with another negative. Grove has a greater need, and that greater need is quality housing at affordable prices. And this should be the pushing point. We should rezone the remaining of our land in Grove for housing. As it pertains to the BASF, I am reminded that the county denied a resort in 2015. A resort in a residential community serves the same purpose. It benefits those that visit at the resort as well as the residents benefit from their community. If the BASF property is good enough for a resort, why not a residential community? The BASF property.
Ma'am, you have to wind up. Your time is up. So.
Excuse me.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Next speaker is John Buford.
Good evening, members of the Planning Commission and Board of Supervisors, staff in this body. This is going to sound very similar to what she just said because it's related to the DPCs. So thank you for the decision to require DPCs to go through a special use permit. The members of the Grove Connections, which I'm part of, believe that was the correct decision. To be clear, I don't speak for all Grove residents. I believe most of us are not in the NIMBY mindset, not in my backyard. I think more of us are in the FRIMBY or RIMBY mindset, those are acronyms I just made up, which means fairly regulated in my backyard and well regulated in my backyard. Well, I use AI to gather most of the facts that I'm going to say today. So like it says in the small print down there, some information might be missing or some of it might be in error. Virginia has the largest concentration of DPCs with 70% of the world's traffic passing through Northern Virginia. I said in the world, not in the United States. 90% of DPCs are in Virginia. Several factors contribute to that, including but not limited to network connectivity, the infrastructure, location, and economic incentives. The incentives include equipment sales and use tax exemptions. Virginia offers those exemptions to DPCs, excuse me. The sales and use tax exemptions are significant incentives that allow DPCs to purchase and lease a wide range of equipment, hardware, and software without paying Virginia taxes. I.e., it's cheaper to set them up in Virginia. That's why most of them are here. DPCs generally do not pay a percentage of their operating revenue to local governments. We don't get any, well, we don't get much revenue from putting them here. They get a lot of tax incentive. Instead, they pay substantial amounts in local property tax instead of the operating taxes from their revenue, which can be a significant percentage of the local government's total general fund revenue. As an example, AI says that Loudoun County receives 38%, $663 million of their general fund revenue from DPCs in 2022. We might get something like that here too, I guess, I don't know. Some key points to consider, however, the tax basis is property. It is not operating revenue. They get taxed on the property that they own, not on the operating revenue. DPCs primarily pay taxes on the value of their physical assets, real property, land and buildings, and business personal property, such as the computers, the servers, the generators, and other hardware. Many DPCs do not generate operating income themselves because the servers they house actually belong to parent companies such as Google, Amazon, Microsoft, etc. But property taxes on DPCs are not static and subject to change like residential properties, but with very different dynamics related to depreciation and rapid technological obsolescence. Significant portions of DPC's values to computers, the equipment, that depreciates rapidly. For as an example, it typically depreciates annually over a 5 to 7 year lifespan. Some of the negative aspects of DPCs, according to AI again, is noise pollution, increased demands on local resources, electricity and water, and air pollution. According to AI, there's no universal standard for minimum setback distance for DPCs. The three most cited distances in AI are 100 to 500 feet, 200 to 300 feet, and one place says 2.5 miles. I believe those first two are too short, and that last one is just too far. 2.5 miles, I think that's unreasonable. I think personally, my gut tells me about 1,000 feet or maybe a quarter of a mile should be the setback, not 2.5 miles. So looking at the possible increase to residential electric bills, I suggest that part of the...
Here you go. Thank you for your time, sir. Appreciate you. Okay. And our last one is Mr. Chris Woodfin.
I think the last time I spoke here, I was the last one too, which is, I'm always the one that y'all like the best because I'm last. So anyway, I appreciate being here. My name is Christopher Woodfin. I live in the Stonehouse Magisterial District at 98 Meadowcrest Trail. in Williamsburg in Mirror Lake subdivision. I am here to speak on the proposed government center at Long Hill Road and Depew Road intersection. However, I think much to your surprise is I have watched numerous videos and seen you've had quite a few speakers speak on the building and speak about why they don't think the building's necessary or why it's too much money and you shouldn't be spending the money. Well, you might enjoy the fact I'm not here to do that, but I am here to talk about the funding and how you're going to pay for the building. How you're going to pay for the building is you all at the last meeting on October 14th, you voted for the early site work package. And the early site work package begins construction on the building. However, in June, Supervisor McGlennon mentioned that, and Supervisor Hippel actually both in comments mentioned that that you hadn't officially approved the building yet, and you hadn't approved the funding for the building yet. And that was at the June meeting. So then we get to the October 14th meeting, and now you're voting for the early site work package. Believe all of it is based off of the October 8th, 2024 resolution with the Economic Development Authority, that you're using that in order to fund a number of projects, the building included. Now, under state code, this board does not have the authority to take on any debt, long-term debt, that's going to saddle a future board with a debt. And I believe that's what you've done with that resolution. You've had, without going to a referendum, you've had 4 election cycles since you first voted to enter into negotiations with Henderson-Gilbane. You could have done 2022, 2023, 2024, or 2025. You could have put a referendum on the ballot. I've seen the videos of the building. It's a beautiful building. So if it's a good deal, sell it to the people. Put it on the ballot and sell it to the people. You've had 4 elections to do it, and you haven't wanted to do it. So since you all, nobody wanted to, but since you all haven't done what I believe would have been the right thing and put it on a referendum, a case has been filed in James City County before an injunction to stop any further action on the building until such time as you put it to a referendum pursuant to Virginia State Code. And we'll proceed from there. I do appreciate the time, and thank you all very much.
Okay, we now move to our consent calendar. Tonight's consent calendar consists of the following items: authorization for leave payout, grant application to the Community Flood Preparedness Fund, Round 6, resolution of Chesapeake Bay Preservation Ordinance violation at 900 Kings Mill Road, resolution of erosion and stormwater management ordinance violation at 900 Kings Mill Road, and minutes adoption. Does anyone wish to pull any item, or may I have a motion to approve the consent agenda?
Motion to approve the consent agenda?
Okay, Mr. Stevens, we have a motion. Please call the roll.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Next, we move to our public hearings, and our Planning Commission representative this evening is Mr. Jack Haldeman. That's over on the right. Thank you, Jack. The first one is SUP 24-0029, 4059 Ironbound Road Communications Facilities Replacement. And Kyle, and I'm going to mispronounce it, Shariko?
Yes, sir.
Okay, very good. We'll give the staff presentation.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. Mr. Harold Timmons of Tower Engineering Professionals has applied on behalf of Dominion Energy for a special use permit to allow for the construction of a 176-foot tall, self-supporting, steel lattice microwave transmission tower with ground-mounted equipment. The proposed tower will replace an existing 150-foot tower on property located at 4059 Ironbound Road. The tower's function is to provide point-to-point communication between Dominion facilities and work crews through microwave transmission. The property is currently zoned M1, Limited Business and Commercial, or in Industrial, and is designated as mixed use in the 2045 Comprehensive Plan. A special use permit is required for any communication tower that exceeds 40 feet in height. The new tower will be relocated approximately 175 feet toward the rear of the property away from the main building. The structure itself is 170 feet tall with a 6-foot tall lightning rod for a total height of 176 feet. It will be equipped with several microwave and directional antennas and has the capacity to accommodate future antennas as needed. Staff has reviewed the proposal against county's performance standards, which are designed to minimize the tower's impact. The policy for this industrial location calls for minimal intrusion, which is defined as not being visible above the tree line. While the applicant's visual analysis shows the tower will be visible from 3 of 12 vantage points, this impact is significantly lessened by relocating the tower 175 feet to the rear of the property. The proposal meets several other key standards. Its 176-foot height is below the 200-foot threshold requiring FAA lighting. It is self-supporting structure as required. Additionally, as a conditioned landscaping plan will ensure the required 100-foot buffer, wide wooded buffer screens the tower's base from view to the maximal extent possible. County departments have reviewed the application. The fire department confirmed the tower will not interfere with the public safety communication network, and building safety and permits found no issues with the tower's structural analysis. At its October 1st, 2025 meeting, the Planning Commission voted 6-0 to recommend the approval of the special use permit request to the Board of Supervisors with provided conditions. The Planning Commission also approved of a resolution to find a proposal consistent with the comprehensive plan in accordance with Section 15.2-2232 of the Code of Virginia. Staff recommends that the Board of Supervisors approve of the special use permit subject to the proposed conditions. Staff will be happy to answer any questions you may have, and the applicant is available as well. Thank you.
Any questions for staff at this time? Okay. Our Planning Commission report from Commissioner Jack Haldeman, please.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. As Mr. Sirico reported, the Planning Commission recommends unanimously that you approve SUP 24-0029. The Planning Commission also unanimously found that the application is consistent with the comprehensive plan. There were no questions of staff at our meeting. One commissioner, while voicing support for the project, asked the applicant about the technology behind the point-to-point communication and how it supported the county resiliency planning initiative. Another commissioner asked the applicant for clarification on the nature of the replacement. We had one speaker from the public, and she was concerned that another carrier might in the future rent space on the tower and broadcast 5G, which she believes would have a deleterious impact on public health. And one commissioner commented that he had driven a wide circumference around the project and found little visual impact. Only on Newtown, from Newtown Boulevard, can you see the 240-foot tower that's adjacent to this. It figures rather prominently in the visual scape, but otherwise there was very little visual impact. And that's really it. I'm happy to answer any questions.
Questions for Mr. Haldeman? Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Do we have any speaker cards?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I'll close the public hearing and look to the board for discussion and/or a motion.
Motion for approval.
We have a motion for approval. Mr. Stevens, call a roll.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. Our next is an ordinance to amend and reordain Chapter 4 Building Regulations, Article 7, Unsafe Buildings and Structures, Section 4-76, Unsafe Buildings and Structures of the Code of James City County, Virginia. Adam Kinsman to give the staff report.
Mr. Chairman.
Excuse me,
Yes, ma'am.
I'm sorry, just one moment. I'm not able to pull up my, like when I pull up it seems as though the Wi-Fi, I don't know, I can't get, I've already seen the agenda, but I'd like to pull up while I'm in the meeting. It just, I don't know, started working, so. Yeah, no, it pulled it up this time, but it must have been a glitch. I apologize, Mr. Kinsman.
Mr. Chairman, members of the board, what I brought to you tonight is an amendment to County Code 4-76, Unsafe Buildings and Structures, which inserts the Board of Supervisors as one of the 3 entities that can declare a building unsafe unsafe for habitation or needing to be repaired. Currently, the code says that it's the fire official or building official. That's the James City County Code. The Virginia Code allows the board to do it as well. There have been some circumstances in the past where the board has viewed a structure as being unsafe, but it wasn't particularly unsafe under the building code or the fire code. That would give the Board of Supervisors the option to do that. I would recommend that should the board decide to do that, we would do that by resolution and have some supporting evidence in there. But it does allow you another avenue to take a look at unsafe structures in the county. If that's something that you'd like to do, I'd recommend that you adopt the ordinance. I'm happy to answer any questions you may have.
Questions for Mr. Kinsman?
So, Mr. Kinsman, this would allow us to, when we recognize that there is a structure, a residential structure in which, for instance, animals are accessing the building, a vacant building by virtue of climbing through shingles or chewing through roofing tile or whatever, and nothing is being done to address those issues, thereby basically causing a residential structure to deteriorate to a point where it can't be reused. Gives us an opportunity to look at situations like that, and if we find that the situation is bad enough, we can then declare that these are buildings that need to be addressed.
Yes, sir, Mr. McGlennon. It's a case-by-case basis. Everything is fact-specific, but there are certain instances where, say, for instance, you have a hole on the side of the building, animals, vermin, whatever getting in. That's not going to be a building code issue if it's not affecting the structure and impending damage to the structure or fire as well. That might be one of the situations where the board would take a look at that and say, we would like to have that hole covered up or repaired.
If we see something going on and who to report it to? You know, who looks into it? Who does the due diligence on it?
I'd look at the county administrator.
Administrator.
Yeah, we would need to set up some sort of procedure for that, and we can do that. Once this code's set, then we'll have a procedure for us to examine those situations, because we're going to want staff to go out there and take a look at it as well.
Right.
Currently, we send out the building official probably most often, and that may be one where we send the building official out and he'll look at it to determine whether or not it's a USBC violation, and if not, then maybe suggest that that's something that the board could take a look at. Thank you.
We have no planning commission report on this one, and so there are any other further questions? Okay, I'll open the public hearing. Are there any speaker cards? Okay, we'll close the public hearing and look to the board for discussion and motion.
Mr. Chairman, yeah, that's fine.
I'm sorry? Motion to approve. Okay, Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. And next is number 3, an ordinance to amend and reordain Chapter 10, Solid Waste, Refuse, and Recycling of the Code of James City County, Virginia. Staff has requested a postponement of this item. Since it was advertised, we will open the public hearing and leave it open until December 9th, 2025 regular meeting. No staff report will be given. If you wish to speak about this item, you will not be allowed to speak again at the December 9th meeting. And there is no planning commission report, so I will open the public hearing. Are there any speakers? We will leave the public hearing open to December 9th. We next move to board discussions, and we have a strategic plan update. Jason Purse.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the board. Based on feedback we got at the last update back in June, the board had desired additional time to review documentation around the strategic plan, so we're before you tonight without an action required. We just wanted to take this opportunity to present an update on the most recent public input gathering that we did and to provide an outline for the changes that you can expect to see in the strategic plan. We've also attached that first draft with the anticipation that we'll be back in December for a final vote. With that, I'm going to turn over the presentation to our consultant from Clarion Associates, Leanne King.
Good evening, Mr. Chair, members of the board. It's my privilege today to present to you the draft of the strategic plan that we've been updating over the course of the last 2 years. I'm going to talk a little bit about, again, an overview of the purpose of the strategic plan, the framework that it provides for the county in making decisions, and also a little bit of information about the community engagement that was held September 29th to get feedback on the working draft. So the purpose, again, of this strategic plan, it's very important. We've heard a lot tonight about comprehensive plan connections. There's an important connection here with the strategic plan. It really helps to organize the efforts at all levels of the county, to set and align priorities as you think about investments with the tax dollars that you all are responsible for investing, to evaluate progress towards achieving the vision for the county, and also to assess and adjust your organization's direction as you move forward through a changing environment. Some of the important objectives that we set out to achieve through this update process, because you do have a currently adopted 2035 strategic plan, was to incorporate the newly adopted studies and plans that have come on board since 2018 when the last plan was adopted. To coordinate the work of the board, administration, and departments to make sure everybody's kind of rowing in the same direction in terms of the goals of the community and what you want to be achieving. As part of that, we wanted to update the strategic plan goals and actions, and also provide an adaptable framework to assess resource allocation moving forward. So again, I mentioned it's been almost roughly a 2-year process. We are at the very end, so this is the draft for your consideration. So I'm going to walk through a little bit of the basics of the plan. Really, one thing that's very important to note about the approach to this strategic plan update is that there were kind of 2 major priorities that were identified early in the process through all of the engagement efforts. And the first was we wanted to make sure that this document was accessible both to the residents of the community so that they could understand what the direction of the county is taking with respect to the strategic plan, but also to provide a connection for all members of the James City County kind of government operations family, that they could see how their role was important in terms of achieving the goals of the strategic plan. We also wanted to make this plan adaptable. So we think of this as a living document that can be adaptable for unforeseen conditions and events that you all might find yourselves in. We also want to make sure that it is aligned with the work priorities of the James City County departments, which can change based on conditions that you all are dealing with. So how the plan works in practice, I mentioned before that there's a connection with the comprehensive plan. The comprehensive plan sets the long-term policy direction for the community. That's the first step in the planning cycle listed on the slide. The second phase is really using that policy direction set by the comprehensive plan and other long-range community plans to set more short-term work priorities for the community. And that's really the role of the strategic plan. So the plan framework includes 5 key components: the mission and values of the community, guiding principles, which are new to the strategic plan, and then updated goals and actions are included within the draft plan. So again, you've got an established mission statement that's incorporated, your values: integrity, collaboration, excellence, and stewardship. And then 3 new guiding principles that were developed as part of this process. And these are very important. The idea is that these are guiding principles that help administration and staff in terms of the way they want to approach their work, that it be service-focused, fiscally efficient, and that they ensure transparent communications through their work. The strategic plan goals were updated. So the first, or the top 4 that you see on the slide here, there have been some minor adjustments to those in comparison to the currently adopted 2035 plan, but those are generally the same goals. We did add 2 additional goals in this draft that you see at the bottom: the recruit and retain a skilled workforce, and preserve and support the development of attainable housing. Those were supported by the community, as I'll share in just a moment. So for each of those goals, there are descriptions of actions and different types of initiatives and programs that can be supported of the kind of implementation of the goals that are included within the document. So I'm going to talk a little bit about what we heard from residents that were involved in the review on the September 29th meeting. So before that, I did want to just kind of remind us all that this community engagement for this planning effort didn't necessarily just start at this process. It also builds off of the comprehensive planning process and all the engagement that took place as part of that initiative. And just as a reminder, there was a citizen survey that was conducted, a statistically significant survey that was drawn upon to create the comprehensive plan 4 rounds of in-person engagement as well as online, and 31 Planning Commission working group meetings. So a lot of community engagement went into development of the comprehensive plan, which is a large driver in terms of what's included within the strategic plan. For this effort, we had 2 rounds of public engagement. The first round that was held in the fall of 2024, we presented the currently adopted plan and asked for feedback on it and some additional ideas about goals that might be included in the new version. And we've presented a briefing to you all earlier this year. And then the second round of engagement was held in September and October of this year, 2025. We had the public open house at Legacy Hall on September 29th, and then the online engagement followed that through October 20th, and we had about 45 total individuals that participated. There are a number of different ways that we spread the word. Your communications staff did an excellent job of presenting this through news releases, website updates, leveraging social media. There were short videos, email updates, various flyers posted around the community, announcements at the rec center monitors, advertisements on JCC TV channel, and social media. So some of the takeaways that we got from folks that were attending and taking a look at the plan and giving feedback, this is kind of an overview of what I'm about to share, but there was strong support for the guiding principles and goals as they're drafted. They found the document easy to read and understand, and they're interested to see how the strategic plan is going to be implemented on a year-to-year basis. So this is the statistics about those, kind of the feedback that was provided. So again, support for all strategic plan guiding principles as drafted. As you can see, strongly support and support listed there for the 3 guiding principles. Support for all strategic plan goals as drafted. We had the highest support for the 5 that are listed on the left side, protecting community character and enhancing the built environment, recruiting and retaining a skilled workforce, collaborating with JCSA to secure sustainable long-term water supply, collaborating on public education, and then delivering exceptional public services. So a lot of strong support for those, and then strong support for growing the diverse local economy, investing in modern infrastructure and technology, and preserving and supporting development of attainable housing. And these are the statistics related to that. So these are each of the goals, and you can see the red numbers on each of the lines show the combination of strong support and support for each of those goals. So 61% is the lowest for the support growing diverse local economy, but again, very strong support across the board in terms of the feedback that was provided. So about 77% of participants found the document clearly organized and easy to understand. They shared that they liked the layout, the graphic content, and the organization, and they're, again, interested in kind of seeing how this is going to be implemented in the future. Again, this is a tool that will be utilized on an annual basis to inform annual budgeting and capital improvement planning for the county. Based on the feedback that was received, we do recommend some adjustments to the draft that was shared during the public engagement period. So providing some additional narrative for further explanation and the need for adaptability in connection to other JCC plans. And also there were some public engagement comments for additional categories under the actions that were incorporated. Stormwater management and examples of community partnerships were some of those that were incorporated in the updated draft that you have. And that concludes my presentation. I'm happy to take any questions or comments that you have.
Questions?
Update.
Very much. Thank you. Okay, we move on to our board considerations. First one is adoption of a board policy to address data center facilities. And Christy Parrish will give a staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, members of the board. At the board's business meeting on October 28, 2025, staff presented a draft data center facilities policy to help mitigate such impact for discussion. The board discussed the policy and further directed staff to bring back the policy for a future meeting and consideration and possible adoption. I will say, however, today Dr. McGlinnan received comments from the Grove Connections organization. Based on some of those suggestions, staff modified the policy language regarding the sound study to include, one, the assessing of the existing ambient noise of the proposed locations between the hours of 11 p.m. and 7 a.m., which mirrors the county's noise ordinance, and then including maximum sound levels for all ancillary equipment, including backup generators. There has been a new resolution posted at your desk. Highlights are the changes, and I recommend, or the staff recommends, the board adopt the resolution, and I'm happy to answer any questions you have.
Questions for staff?
Question. The data center should be located on property inside the primary service area. It almost seems like it's limiting our ability to hide it somewhere. In the primary service area is mainly developed. So we're almost saying we want to put these in a developed area instead of a non-developed area.
I believe the policy was designed so that the water sources would be available, so that would be located within the primary service area. Of course, this is a policy, should an applicant come to be able to mitigate all those resources outside the primary service area, that would be a board's judgment on the special use permit.
Okay. Thinking we're contradicting what, we don't want it next to houses. Primary service area is where all the houses are. And maybe it could be outside the primary service area in a location that they can get the water and all to them, or the power to them, but not be next to a house or houses. And so, we designed the primary service area so that it was where we wanted all the development to go. And then we say we don't want a data center where the development goes, but then in here we're saying, let's put a data center in where development goes.
Considering the resources are within
Right.
the primary service area and the land that's currently zoned M2, in which this is where it's permitted with the SUP, that's why it was entered into the policy. Certainly, it's, if you would rather have it changed, that would be a board decision.
I'm thinking is BASF, I'm not sure if is that in primary? It is. How about now with up in Stonehouse?
All of Stonehouse area where the EO, as well as some of the M1, should be in the primary service area.
Other side is still in the, as I know, is going
Like
up
where
60.
Hankins and so forth is all in the primary service area.
And even over by the interstate, that's still in, because I know one time we had that going up 60 and turning. And I know we talked about moving it, but I couldn't remember if we moved that over into that area or not.
Probably has it all down by.
Yeah, he's got it in his
memory, I know,
head.
right? It's got it in his head, yeah. He's the encyclopedia.
I believe the other side, the Hankins property is inside the PSA. I don't think that, like where a future Moortown Road extended might be. I think all of that is still outside of the PSA.
And then Hankins, did we take it out?
No, it came
We
up for
talked about it.
consideration as part of the last update, but as part of the board's final consideration, all that was left inside the PSA.
That's right, because we talked about it'd be hard pressed to get it under the interstate, the services. And they said they could get that taken care of. And that's right, in that meeting, they said they could move that and they would pay for anything that needed to go underneath the interstate.
I have a question on underwater consumption guidance. This is, centers should be in a closed loop liquid cooling system. So that would mean you wouldn't have to be in the PSA, technically. If you had a closed water system, that you don't need to access
all the way
public water.
closed. You still have to fill it initially, and there could still be some loss along the way. So you would still probably need to replenish it from time to time.
So you still, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I want to, first of all, thank you for the hard work that you put into this, because I think it really is a challenging issue. We had an opportunity to hear a very detailed briefing, both on energy consumption and the impact that that's going to have on availability of electricity, the need to maintain fossil fuel generating capacity for the next couple of decades, and other issues related to that. So I really do appreciate it. I also Appreciate your reviewing that material that came in just today, and I know that must have been a little bit of a challenge. And I certainly understand why the recommendation, the suggestion that was made by the citizens that communicated with me today, where they wanted to change everything that said should to will, and that may be more restrictive than makes sense for a board policy. So thanks for all of that. The one area where I still have a little bit of concern is listening to Supervisor Mike Turner from Loudoun County, who I think is probably the most well-informed member of a Board of Supervisors in the world, given the Loudoun's experience. He suggested that the standard ought to be, in terms of distance from an occupied residence, 1,000 feet, as opposed to the 400 feet that this policy proposes. What kind of impact would that have? I don't know if you can
I
speculate
guess it would
on
be
it.
site-specific to where it would want to go.
Mhm.
I mean, certainly if you look at some areas that are zoned M2, the one down in Grove might be able to achieve that. The ones up in Hankins area may or may not.
Mhm.
Yeah, it's hard unless I can certainly bring back or send out to the board all the M2 property kind of with a 1,000-foot radius around it, if you would like.
I wonder if we could maybe consider adopting the policy this evening and then potentially amending it if it turns out that that extension of 1,000 feet would not have a significant impact on the opportunities for such a center.
I mean, I can certainly do some radiuses around at 400 feet
I think
and so forth.
I think having heard him, especially in terms of the long-term vibration noise that Loudoun has been experiencing, that would be something that I'd like to see.
I think 1,000 feet sounds good. 400 feet is not very far for noise abatement, for sure.
And certainly you can opt to vote to change that to 1,000
Change it now.
and we can certainly get the updated signature afterwards. And of course, again, this is a policy,
Yep.
so if someone comes in with a site that may be less than 1,000, then that would be the opportunity for them to justify why that is necessary and how they're going to mitigate such impacts.
Then I think I would feel comfortable recommending and amending the policy to 1,000 feet for an occupied residence.
Now the other thing, because it not knowing as much as I guess we need to know on what happens with these facilities and all. And of course, residents are more worried about it probably than we are because they know probably less, and some of them know more, I'm sure. But the majority of them, with listening and studying, is there any appetite that if there was a data center, one or two, or maybe none, but if there was one or two that ended up in the county, like say if we ended in one over in BASF, would y'all be willing to go, you know what, let's put a percentage of that to rebuilding Grove?
Income.
Yeah,
Yeah,
of the income that we
Sure.
receive.
That's interesting, yeah.
I know I don't know, yeah, I don't want to tie up other boards, but we always do. We always, that's it. You can't help, but you make a rule with what you have now.
Right.
And the other boards can change it, just like we heard earlier today. I mean, any board can change
Sure.
anything as they go along, and that's their job. But I'm thinking, would that be something that would help an area develop and give back to that region within the county? I don't know. Y'all's opinion.
I think we've had opportunities to do some things like that, and I think there was a general sense that we would like to see some of the revenue coming from the Skiffs Creek substation devoted to Grove, but I don't know whether the mechanism ever has been developed for that. And in this case, I'd say, you know, if somebody came in with a proposal, that would be perhaps something that we would want to take into account. I don't know that we would necessarily want to say that it should be in this policy, because that is a kind of site-specific.
Right. No,
issue.
I'm not
Yeah.
thinking, I'm just thinking for future.
Yeah, I
Not in
think-
this policy, but.
Right,
you
right.
know,
I think that makes a lot of sense, Mr. Heppel, that we might want to recognize that the impact of that, while it may be something that, say, is revenue beneficial for the entire county, would have more significant impacts on the closest location.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
One of the things I heard, and I've read a lot about it, is some of these data centers, people talk about, the residents are upset because the data centers are not paying the same rate for their electricity that we are, and they're getting breaks in that. Is that true? Do you know
I
that?
have heard that. I haven't delved
They
too
should pay the
far
market rate.
into
I
it.
mean, if they should pay the market rate, if they're sitting there
But,
without using all this energy, and they're
But-
getting a break, and the person across the street, because they're residential, is paying a different rate. I don't think that's right, and I've heard that from quite a few articles I've read.
And I
It's-
think,
there's
I think
nothing in
that
here about-
issue, I'm sorry, Ms. Dahl, I think part of that issue also is the notion that if the demand for more power is being primarily driven by data centers, maybe they should be paying a higher share of the cost of providing new infrastructure.
Right, right.
That's, I think,
Minimum,
I've heard
what we're
a fair
paying,
amount
but
of that
higher,
discussion.
yeah. Because they're using all they're saying that you can have brownouts because they're using so much of the electricity. Yeah, okay, so that's
So did
just
you
one of
make
the
a-
unintended consequences.
So
that happens.
I would ask it, to amend the recommended policy to include 1,000 feet as the distance from an occupied residence. Do we need to vote on that, or do you want to?
You want to vote on the amendment, or would you? Okay.
And didn't vote on it.
So we have an amendment, and he's made a motion. Any discussion on it? We'll take a vote on amendment. Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. Hippel.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Just for clarification, do you still want the maps? I'm happy to do them. Do you still want the maps that kind of show the rings around it?
Well, I think it would be helpful, but I don't think there's a big rush on it.
Okay.
It'd be interesting, but don't break your neck on doing it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
But we have that,
So-
that was the amendment. Now we have to do a
the
motion
ordinance,
to pass the amended resolution.
I'll move the resolution.
Okay, we have a motion. Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Ms. Knoll.
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan.
Aye.
Ms. Larson.
Aye.
Mr. Hippel.
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right, we are now down to board requests and directives. Mr. Hippel.
All right. I think we're getting a photo here of our groundbreaking today. I think there's a photo coming up in a minute. We had a groundbreaking today on the new county complex. Went very well attended. Weather was beautiful. This is going to be a building that is going to enhance our community. It's going to, rather than put our money into fixing up and adding on to the older buildings where we feel we're spending and our advisors feel, our financial advisors feel we're spending our money wisely by building this new facility, and we can't wait to get it started. We're excited about it. The citizens are excited about it. There's only a handful of people that I've talked to that aren't excited about it, and I'm hoping that in time they will realize what a great project this will be, not only for James City County, but for all the citizens. And they will understand, I'm sure, that once this is constructed and built, and they come in and see this facility, they'll understand what a gold mine it is for James City County, how well we're going to be able to work with the staff and everything else, how well we'll be able to work with communications as far as tornadoes and hurricanes and natural disasters and everything else, and seeing it on the fire side for years now, and how the community had, all of our staff has to keep moving around and which they need to do to figure out to keep the community safe, now it can be done under one roof, and then going back to the staff what to do, and if it changes, then they can have another meeting. We're not driving all over the county for meetings and everything else. So, we're growing up. It's time to realize we're growing up, and it's time to realize that this facility is part of the future of James City County. We got 55-year-old buildings here in James City County that we're gonna put on. We're fixing plumbing pipes constantly in these buildings. Staff, you need to go over to another building to use the restroom, because now that the floor's gotta be cut up and we've gotta fix the floors. This is leaking, that's leaking, and I think out of most of them, I know more about construction than a lot of them that have made opinions on what we can do with the buildings. So that's been enough said. I just want to say what an honor and a privilege it was today to see the future of James City County and where it's going and the direction it's going. And I think it's 100% on target. Thank you, sir.
Okay, all of us attended the grand opening of CEL down in, near the Walmart Distribution Center. 500,000 square feet building that this company from Ireland is coming over here. And it's just it's a fabulous building. They've got an option on doing the whole building. All their product that they use to make these boxes, I don't know what they're called. They're big black boxes,
They're
and
called,
they send things to data centers. What are they called?
They're power bases,
Power
right?
grids or something's in there. They're huge. And they're hiring, they've already hired 70 people. They're gonna hire like 200 this year, and it'll be up to 500 in a couple of years. They start at $72,000. So they're really going after military, people that have gotten out of the military and so forth. And Ellen Guida and I went over, I said, we know all these people, let's go over and meet some more people. So we met like 10 of the guys that work there. They say it's the best company to work for. They love working there, and they're just so excited about it. And one man said, I would never live anywhere else than James City County, which I thought was cool, because he came back from California, which is understandable, of course. So they're gonna make a lot of money for us, and I'm really excited about that. And then I volunteered at Halloween for Heroes, out at the police station, and we had over 2,000 people come this year for Halloween with Heroes, where they bring their kids, and all our products are out there, and our fire trucks are out there, and in the water survival boat and all that kind of stuff. It's really, really cool. So I enjoyed doing that. I think that's it for this month.
The fun stuff.
They're power distribution units.
Power distribution units.
Yep.
Thank you. I keep
You're
forgetting
welcome.
power distribution units. I'll remember that.
Yeah,
Thank you.
sure. So I wanted to mention that I participated in the Working Towards Wellness Breast Cancer Walk. It's supposed to be outside. The weather was not good, so it was in the rec center. I think we had to go 11 times around to get
11?
a mile. I think that's right. On the track. If I'm not right, somebody from Parks and Rec will let me know. But we had a great crowd, and we had a lot of women, but we had a lot of men in the county that came out as well. And that is just a really great program for wellness. Doug was there, he walked. And they do a lot of things for employee health, and it gave them a chance to also talk about the importance of self-check and taking care of yourself. And so I want to thank them for that. I really enjoyed that walk. And also attended that opening and ribbon cutting. That was tremendous, and appreciate the governor coming down, and just what a great spotlight on James City County and the Roberts District. Congratulations to you. And this morning was very special, and an honor to participate as well, and appreciate all the work that staff did to make that such a wonderful event. And it was a beautiful day, but it was a little chilly. So not perfect conditions, and they were running after all kinds of things. So really appreciate that. Just want to take a minute to talk about VACO. We just returned from our annual conference, where we John and I were both in the data center conversation, which was excellent, but there were a lot of excellent breakouts and learning opportunities. And we, James City County, participated in quite a few. Jim is the chair of the Finance and Elections Steering Committee. John heads High Growth. And Scott participated in a peer-to-peer education lunch. And so I just thought it was an excellent opportunity to just really put the spotlight on James City County. And I appreciate everybody participating. And I wrapped up my year as president of the Virginia Association of Counties, and I want to, thank you. Thank you. And I want to thank everybody here at Jane. I want to thank my colleagues on the board for your incredible support over the past year. And I want to thank staff, administration, all the employees. I do think it was a wonderful opportunity it was just such an honor where whenever I was at a VACO event to talk about the fact that what county I represented, and wasn't about, as I said, it's not about me. It is about the tremendous work that goes on here by everyone that works here. And it just made me really proud, and I'm just grateful. So there's a lot going on. It looks like it's going to be a busy November, busy December. And again, congratulations to Supervisor-elect Wainwright. And Michael, I can't start talking about it because I'll boo-hoo, but can't believe, and congratulations to the chair on your reelection, a very sound reelection, might we say. And just want to thank Molly and Luke Haskin for coming forward today and recognizing everyone that helped them, and thank those citizens that helped them in a time of great need. So, thank you.
I have a couple of things I'd like to draw attention to. The first is just that on October 30th, night before Halloween, I had a community meeting in Grove, and I want to thank the county administrator and staff for coming to help explain what is happening in Grove right now with the number of projects that the county and state are involved in. And I think there's a lot of great opportunity coming along. As we've heard a lot about Grove recently, and one of the things I think that is important for us to remember is that for many years, as Grove developed, it was developed in a way that was really different from other parts of the county, didn't get some of the same amenities and niceties. So sometimes when we go into the community to work on projects, we have to first undo the damage that was done in terms of that original kind of development. And so it does take more time and more money to address that, but I think now we're going to see some real continued change and growth in the community. I do want to mention a couple of other items, and one would be that congratulations to the citizens of James City County. We had a very exciting election year this year, lots of interesting results across the board. We have a new member joining our board, and a new member joining the school board, as I understand it, and we also had the re-election of Mr. Eisenhower. I want to congratulate him on that, and Ms. Wainwright's election, congratulate her for her victory, and say that all of this was accomplished with a remarkably high level of participation by our county citizens. We were #1 in the state in terms of early votes. 40% of our voting rolls, the folks on our voting rolls turned out before Election Day or mailed their ballots in before Election Day in order to participate in the election. And that's a tremendous tribute to the hard work that the campaigns put together, but also the interests of our citizens in the elections. And we had one of the highest turnout rates overall. 64% of all the registered voters turned out to cast ballots, and that's quite remarkable. That's an exceptionally high number for an off-year election. Frankly, I don't think we'll ever see Virginia move away from these off-year elections. There's just too much benefit to having a little share of the national spotlight for a little bit of time. In addition to the election, though, I also wanted to make reference to the VACO conference, which I thought was excellent. Really good presentations, great information out there at all, and to our colleagues' central role in both the conference and in VACO for the past year. Ms. Larson just represented VACO exceptionally well, and it's really shown a positive light on James City County in ways that our citizens should know about. Just excellent, excellent work. And Mr. Eisenhower, in addition to his organizational roles within VACO, participated in a panel yesterday, Veterans Day, where he had the opportunity to speak about what he described as his best and worst day in his military service. And I think it just received so exceptionally deeply with appreciation for your experience and the recounting of it, I think, moved everybody in that room. So thank you, Jim, for that. And again, congratulations on your reelection victory. A couple of weeks ago, I just kind of made a note that the community was experiencing a lot of demand for food to deal with people who have found themselves with layoffs, lost jobs, just the general challenges of affordability at this particular moment, and suggested that folks might want to think about making a donation. Mr. Hippel, as is often the way, leaped on that suggestion and said, for our next meeting, why don't we pack the podium? Well, we haven't packed the podium, but we have packed the room next door to this with contributions from our staff and from our members of the board and others that just is designed to say, we understand the challenges that you're facing right now. As I left from my office at William & Mary to go to the groundbreaking today, the line at House of Mercy was 4 blocks long on Richmond Road of cars waiting to come for their food distribution center. Grove Christian Outreach Center, Fish, all the groups that are participating in food distribution are experiencing a very, very heavy demand right now. And our citizens are stepping up. But it's also important for our government to step up and recognize the need to make sure that people do not go hungry or unhoused. So you can see a photograph, well, I don't know, can our folks at home see this photograph?
Yep.
Of just some of the food that has been donated by our staff and boards that will be distributed to the food distribution centers. And so thank you to Mr. Hippel for taking the idea and adding it to a kind of formal challenge to get contributions out here. And thank you to all of the staff who contributed to this effort. And I think that is enough for me for the moment. I will just say that we'll have some comments on another very sad note at our JCSA meeting a little bit later on.
The morning after the election, I managed to get up at 8:30 and go down to Kings Mill and make some welcome remarks to the, I believe it's called the Society of Social Services Executives, who meet periodically, and they were meeting here in James City County, so I was happy to welcome them there. And it was a very packed room of people who do an awful lot for the citizens of our Commonwealth, so I was very pleased to be able to do that. I did attend the CEL then that is an absolute phenomenal addition. Slowly but surely, we are adding to the industrial base with more employment opportunities, better employment rates, and benefits, and people who are very happy to be working here. And I think it will help diversify our tax base so that we become less reliant on real estate taxes. I will let Mr. McGlennon talk at the JCSA meeting, but I did want to mention that I had the opportunity going door to door to knock on a door of a gentleman I've known since the 23rd of June, 1963. He's a classmate of mine. I met him when we were just barely 18 years old going into the Air Force Academy. And he lives right around the circle from me in Ford's Colony. And I'm glad I did, because I had about a 30-minute good conversation with him. He's been experiencing some serious medical issues. And I'm so happy that I did, because last Sunday morning he passed away. Barry Crane, a retired colonel, PhD. And here's a gentleman who started out flying cargo and then volunteered to go to Vietnam and did a tour in the backseat of an F-4. And in order to upgrade to the front seat, volunteered for a consecutive overseas. So he did 2 back-to-back tours in Vietnam over the North. And I have great respect for his endeavors in that manner. And I really, I did want to express my appreciation, Ruth, to VACO for letting me have the opportunity to speak a little bit on Veterans Day. It was very meaningful to me, too. Thank you. I think we go to reports to the county administrator.
Mr. Chair, members of the board, just a couple of comments. I do want to say again, I think we have a phenomenal staff, and I think our Parks and Recs and the amount of awards that they brought home, competing with other localities in the state, just reaffirms that and also solidifies it. Really, when we say we have a phenomenal staff, we really do in a lot of our departments. I just want to say congratulations to them again. Also want to mention our annual Repair, Fair, and Recycling Expo that is hosted by the Clean County Commission is Saturday, November 22nd from 9 a.m. to 1 p.m. at War Hill High School on Opportunity Way. The event provides drive-through recycling drop-off for plastic bags, glass, food scraps that would go to compost, tires, as well as donation, acceptance of furniture, household goods, building materials, and shoes. We'll also have the ability to do shredding there, so if you have paper that you would like to have shredded, you can bring that through as well. Simultaneously, there'll be fixtures indoor repairing lightly broken items. The event is open to all James City County residents. No registration is required for the outdoor recycling and drop-off and shredding. It is free. The repairs are also free, but we need for residents to register in advance so we can make sure we have the right fixer there, as well as maybe some supplies they would need. And residents can do that through our website at jamescitycountyva.gov, or they can call 259-5375. Again, 757-259-5375. I'd also just want to wish everybody, since it's your last meeting ahead of Thanksgiving holiday, just wish everyone a safe and happy Thanksgiving. And again, you'll be meeting again in December, but until that time, I wish each of that for you and our residents and employees. So that's all I have.
Did you want to see, we have only one item on our closed session for that appointment. If there's any, unless there's any objection, we can redo that in open session. Do you feel?
Well, I would like to go into closed session.
Okay.
Yep.
All right, very well. And may I have a motion to enter closed session for the following? Consideration of a personnel matter, the appointment of individuals to county boards and or commissions pursuant to section 2.23711A1 of the Code of Virginia and pertaining to the Colonial Behavioral Health Board.
So moved.
Okay, Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Nolan?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlennon?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye. Okay, we're going to closed session. Okay, we are coming back into open session. I will look for a motion to certify the closed session.
Mr. Chairman, I move to certify that we only spoke about those items we indicated we would speak about going into closed session.
Stevens, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay.
I'd like to move that we reappoint Mr. Roy Witham as the county representative to the Colonial Behavior Health Board, excuse me, for a term that would end June 30, 2028.
Motion, Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
Okay. All right, then we will look for a motion to adjourn until 8:30 a.m. on December 5th, the joint meeting at Legacy Hall.
So moved.
We have a motion. Mr. Stevens, call the roll.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll? Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Motion carries.
We are adjourned and
Roll down, Liz.
Okay,
the baton is passed.
so I'd like to call to order the James City Service Authority Board of Directors regular meeting. Mr. Powell, call the roll, please.
Mr. Hippel.
Here.
Ms. Larson.
Here.
Ms. McGlinnan.
Here.
Mr. Eisenhower.
Here.
And Ms. Knoll.
Any presentations?
We do have one presentation tonight, the audit report. Ms. Cheryl Holland, the county's budget manager, is going to make some introductory remarks and then turn it over to Ms. Harden, who is with Cherry Beckard.
Okay.
Chair, members of the board, good evening. I'm Cheryl Holland. I'm the county's budget director, but I also prepare the annual financial statements for the Service Authority. Tonight, we'll discuss the JCSA financial statements for fiscal year 2025, which ended on June 30th. And Laura Harden, a director from JCSA's independent auditor, Cherry Beckard, will give a presentation on the audit of those financial statements. You should have a copy of the financial statements and the audit presentation, both of which will be available online soon. Before I turn things over to our auditor, I'll provide a few financial highlights for FY25. A primary measure of JCSA's financial health is what we call net position, which compares the authority's assets and deferred outflows of resources to the authority's liabilities and deferred inflows of resources. JCSA's net position as of June 30th was approximately $199.9 million, an increase of $4.2 million over the prior year. The bulk of JCSA's net position, roughly $139.3 million, reflects investments in capital assets. These are the pipes, the lift stations, the buildings, the equipment, the vehicles, all of the infrastructure and assets necessary to carry out JCSA's operations. But it's important to note this portion of net position, approximately 70% of JCSA's total net position, isn't a liquid asset available for future spending. The remaining 30% of net position consists of $900,000 of restricted for debt service and approximately $59.7 million of unrestricted net position, which is available for future needs. Again, the change in net position for FY25 was an increase of $4.2 million, and the main driver of this increase was capital contributions. These are water and sewer systems that are constructed by outside developers and contributed to JCSA during FY25. Operating revenues increased by 4.1% during FY25, primarily due to an increase in water and sewer service rates as recommended in the comprehensive rate study. These operating revenues are intended to cover operating expenses, which increased for FY25 by 8.5%, and this was primarily due to maintenance needed on JCSA's infrastructure assets and implementation of a new stepped pay plan for employees. In addition, JCSA implemented a new accounting standard for FY25 related to compensated absences. This was Governmental Accounting Standards Board Statement Number 101, also known as GASB 101. You'll hear more about that this evening. This standard provides new guidance on reporting for certain types of employee leave, and GASB required entities to restate their prior year net position based on this new standard. As a result, JCSA's beginning net position for FY25 includes a reduction of approximately $690,000 compared to FY24, again, just because of this restatement. Even with this restatement, though, JCSA had a good year for FY25 as seen in the overall increase to net position. Now, the information I've just gone through is summarized in the section of the financial statements known as Management's Discussion and Analysis. It starts on page 4 of the financial statement document, and the financial statements themselves start on page 11 with what we call the Statement of Net Position, which is pretty much the balance sheet. And then there's, on page 12, you have the Statement of Changes in Net Position, which go over the revenue and expense items. Now, the financial statements are overall are a 75-page document. I'm not going to go through all of it tonight, but I do want to say it does take a good deal of effort to turn our spreadsheets and our data into this final product. Given that, I'd like to thank the county's accounting team and the director of FMS, Sharon McCarthy, for their assistance with these financials. And I'd also like to express my gratitude to JCSA's Assistant General Manager, Stephanie Luton, and the business manager, Shannon Hallett, for their continuing collaboration and during this audit and throughout the fiscal year. With that, are there any questions on the financial statements before I turn over to the audit presentation? It's just a little bit of light reading.
Right.
All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Well, good evening, board and members of the chair. I'm pleased to be here this evening to present the results of the audit of the James City Service Authority for the fiscal year ended June 30, 2025. My name is Laura Harden. I was the engagement director who oversaw the audit of the financial statements and take ultimate responsibility for our issued audit opinion. So I'll go over our results of the audit first. So we did audit the authority as of and for the year ended June 30, 2025. We did issue our audit opinion on October 28th, 2025. We issued what's called an unmodified opinion on the financial statements. That is the best opinion that you can receive as a result of your audit and is generally called a clean audit opinion. We also perform audits under both government auditing standards as well as the Auditor of Public Accounts for the Commonwealth of Virginia's specifications for audits of authorities, boards, and commissions. We did not identify any instances of non-compliance while performing those procedures. We also gain an understanding of the internal controls of the authority to help us plan and perform our audit procedures. But if we do identify anything that we consider to be a control deficiency, we would be required to report that to you. We did not identify anything that we consider to be a material weakness in internal control over financial reporting or other matters of non-compliance. Additionally, during the audit, we could come across things that are misstatements that are either corrected or left uncorrected by management. I'm pleased to tell you that we did not identify any misstatements during our audit procedures. In this section, we have a lot of qualitative aspects of accounting practices. I'm not going to go through every single slide, but I do want to touch on a few of the key highlights. So as Cheryl mentioned, in the financial statements, note one of the financials does describe all of the authority's accounting practices, and in that note, you'll see that the authority did implement GASB Statement Number 101 for compensated absences. This was a very big endeavor, coming up with the estimate this year and determining the restatement needed. That was the only item that changed as compared to the prior year and did cause a restatement in beginning net position.
That was one that caught everybody off guard this year, correct? It was
new guidance for everyone, so everybody implemented it. It did have a larger impact than I think everybody initially thought it would, because it required balances that were not previously paid out. They had to go through a more likely than not calculation to determine the likelihood that that leave is going to be used in a future fiscal year.
Shame that wasn't rolled out better to the communities that it affected and could have been planning ahead of time instead of trying to catch up later.
Well, everybody here did a great job at coming up with that estimate. Lots of trainings and whatnot, but yes, it was a very big endeavor for everyone. There were no significant or unusual transactions that occurred this year. Those would be things that are outside of the normal course of business for the authority. There are some items in the financial statements that are considered to be significant estimates, meaning that these balances can change year over year based on the underlying assumptions. The most significant to the authority are its estimate of depreciation based on the estimated useful lives of capital assets, and then the net pension and OPEB assets and liabilities and those deferred flows of resources, and then also that compensated absences is now considered to be a significant estimate, more likely than not. We are independent of the authority, and we have met our ethical requirements in accordance with the relevant audit standards. We did not provide any non-attest services. However, if we did, management would be responsible for assigning someone to oversee those. I am pleased to tell you we had no difficulties or disagreements with management. And we did not identify any other findings or issues that are required to be reported to you, or any fraud or illegal acts or waste or abuse as a part of our audit procedures. With that, I will open it up to any questions that you might have.
I feel we have a great team in our financial group here in James City County. Is there anything, and I know it's a crystal ball question, is there anything we can do better in the future that will help us with financing?
Nothing comes to mind. They have a very good group here. Everyone's standards of quality are very high.
Yes, we've got a great team, so
We do.
good to hear and good to know we're on the right track.
Very easy to work with as well.
Thank you.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Laura, yeah, no. Okay, Mr. Powell, any public comments?
No, ma'am.
Any speaker cards? No, okay. Tonight's consent calendar consists of the following items: authorization for leave payout and budget amendment. Number 2, contract award $247,408 for server hardware and server software replacement. And number 3, minutes adoption.
Motion for approval?
Okay. Mr. Powell, call the rule.
Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
Ms. Knoll?
Aye. Public hearings, sale of property, number 4, Hempstead Court. You want to tell us what that is?
Yes, ma'am. The JCSA owns property at 4 Hempstead Court in the Windsor Forest subdivision. It is the site of a former well production facility. JCSA no longer requires that well, and in fact, we have abandoned that well. Since we no longer have use for that property, and it literally sits in a cul-de-sac in a residential neighborhood, we felt the appropriate thing to do was to try to sell that property to one of the adjacent property owners. We contacted each one of the adjacent property owners, asked them to submit a sealed bid to us if they were interested in the party. We heard from one of the adjacent property owners, the McCombers, at 5 Hempstead, and they've offered $25,000 for that property. And staff recommends the approval of the resolution, which authorizes me to execute the real estate contract to sell that property. I should have noted that it's 2.23 acres. It is not large enough to build a house. It's not a buildable lot. And so that's one of the reasons we're comfortable with selling it to one of the adjacent property owners.
Can they build anything on it, though, like a storage shed or
Yes,
anything along that line?
accessory
Okay.
structures that are in compliant
Okay,
with the zoning
okay.
ordinance, they could do that sort of thing.
And there's nothing
yes.
left from the well, so is the well capped? I don't understand how that works.
It's been capped. The lines are still, the
Right,
pipes
yeah.
are still there underground, and the property owner is aware of that.
And they don't care, right?
No.
But it's safe?
No. Yeah,
Okay.
oh, absolutely.
Cool,
yes.
so let's sell it.
Okay.
Let's make some money. Does anybody have any questions?
Motion for approval?
All right, Mr. Hippel?
Aye.
Oh,
No.
sorry. Yeah.
Open public hearing.
Open the public hearing.
Oh, we got to open the public hearing. Open the public hearing.
Any
Seeing
speaker
no one
cards?
here. Close the public hearing.
All right.
So let's
Motion
move
on the floor?
Motion on the floor.
Aye.
Mr. Hippel, Ms. Larson, Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
And Ms. Knoll?
Aye. Board considerations?
No, ma'am.
I do want to say that, y'all got a great team over
Oh,
there.
you do.
And, it's nice to hear when we go to financials and all that, and you hear so much from people that y'all are not doing this, you're not doing that, and the county's doing this, but when it gets down to it and you hear how well everybody works together, how well the county runs, how well the service authority is managed and everything else, and I know, employees are a great benefit, but it comes from the top down too. So we do appreciate all your hard work and all your efforts and everything, and your staff, great staff. They get things done, and I'm glad to see that our equipment that's out there is looking better and better. There for a while, we were You know, we had Bale and Twine holding some of it together. I'm glad we can, you know, have a little bit more reliable equipment so we can get the job done quicker and get taken care of the citizens a little bit better. So thank you, and thank the staff too as well.
Thank you, Mr. Hippel. You know, I was going to recognize Ms. Luton, who is our treasurer and financial director, and also Shannon Howlett, who's fairly new to our team. They've done consistently great work with our financials for a number of years now, and certainly the you know, positive audit is the result of their hard work. So,
I also want to commend you because your team is so great. Anytime something goes wrong and you get the email or Scott sends something out and an hour later, 2 hours later, it's fixed. And people appreciate that. I think they always get good help from you guys, and your guys are great. They're fabulous. Anybody else?
Are we on board requested directives? Yeah. If I can, I'll just make a couple of comments about the very sad news we got last week about the passing of Larry Foster. You know, Larry played a crucial role in the continuing development of JCSA, and it was not just in terms of managing the construction, the testing, the rehabilitation, the addressing of problems and issues, developing new policies as we went along, but it was also in terms of the kind of character that he brought to the position. The fact that, you know, Larry was the kind of person who was always going to try to do his best to satisfy the needs of the community and to address the concerns or problems that our customers have. It was just a great spokesperson, and you know, we've had some great spokespeople and administrators in that agency, including Mr. Powell and Mr. Warner, and Larry just brought a special kind of purpose to his leadership of the team at JCSA. I guess I hadn't remembered, but reading about him, you know, there was mention of his role in the county, and then I did remember that Sandy at one point decided to do some succession training and move people around for 6-month periods, and so Larry served as an assistant county administrator during one of those transitions, and you know, he was able to bring the same kind of how can we solve your problem, how can we address your needs attitude to that position. But it really is more about Larry as an individual that I think does stand out the most. His relationship with his family was so much in evidence at his memorial service last Friday. You know, the comments made by all of the people involved, especially his son, his daughter, and his grandson, just made you know that this was somebody who had a special relationship with those that he was closest to, but wasn't really satisfied with that in terms of wanting to have that same kind of special relationship with anybody that he knew or anybody that he met. And it was evident not just in his leadership of JCSA, but in all the work that he did as a volunteer. You know, you could try to schedule something else for him on Wednesday mornings, but he was not going to say he could do it because he had the House of Mercy to work for. He was the kind of person who just contributed so much, not only to the organization, but to the mood, to making people feel that they may be helping the community, but they were having a good time doing it. And that they really benefited tremendously. All the organizations which he took a role benefited so dramatically, whether it was CDR or House of Mercy or other organizations, United Way. Larry was always somebody who would step up and bring a can-do attitude, but one that was not, you know, we're going to grind this out, but just we're going to do this and we're going to have fun doing it. So I know that this community benefited an awful lot from Larry Foster. And he was the kind of person that contributed to the very positive reputation that our local government has with our citizens and with JCSA in particular. And he will be sorely missed, and I think, owe him a tremendous debt of gratitude for the kind of model that he provided for great administration and for true human caring. So with that, I'll just stop.
Well said.
Well, I read his obituary and I thought, I wish I'd met him.
He was a
You know, he's the kind of
Very
person
nice
I would
man.
have
He's a
wanted to
neat
meet
guy.
and know.
Yep.
Good guy.
Any other? General manners update, please.
You know, I hesitate to say anything because I won't be nearly as eloquent as Mr.
Oh, no.
McGlinnan. But as the
Yeah.
person who succeeded Larry, I do just want to say a word or two. You know, the number of people that were at his service, certainly a reflection of how the community felt about Larry. But, you know, it's even more so with the folks who work at JCSA and the people who still work there that worked there when Larry was there. Have just all been very shocked and saddened by his passing. You know, I think Larry, it goes without saying, he leaves a very strong legacy at the JCSA. And, you know, I think the prioritization, the emphasis that's been put on customer service at the JCSA is certainly a reflection of Larry as well. And, you know, when I first got there, and I still feel it somewhat today, you know, Larry had big shoes to fill. It wasn't necessarily easy to follow Larry, but you know, I inherited an organization that was already in very good shape and very strong when I got there. And, you know, a lot of that is because of Larry. And so he will be, as you said, Mr. McGlinnan, he will be missed.
Okay, I have a motion for adjournment.
So-
Till 5 PM on December 9th for
So
the
moved.
regular meeting.
Aye.
Ms. Larson?
Aye.
Mr. McGlinnan?
Aye.
Mr. Eisenhower?
Aye.
And Ms. Knoll?
Aye.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We're done.